the center of all love I stand, and from that center I, the soul, will outward move. From that center I, the one who serves, will work. May the love of the divine self be shed abroad in my heart, through my group and throughout the world. May the love of the divine self be shed abroad in my heart, through my group and
Good morning, everyone. This is Michael, and we are undertaking this, at least Sunday morning here in Finland, the meditation for attracting financial resources to support the reappearance of the Christ, the externalization of the hierarchy, the reappearance of the Christ. As often stated, the Tibetan has given voluminous knowledge, but of all the knowledge he has imparted, he said that the information regarding the formation of the new group of world servers and the externalization and the reappearance of the Great Lord, these were the most important things of all. And he told us also that humanity would reach the point when it realized it could not, alone and unaided, solve its most pressing problems. I suspect that at that point the externalizing hierarchy will be evoked, and that human societies will look towards the planetary centers where the masters will be found gradually, surrounded by their initiates and their disciples, and the advice that they offer, which will be sound advice leading to proper results, will be called for. Meanwhile, it's our task to continue supporting the efflux, the spreading of the ageless wisdom widely in an educational manner, and that, of course, does require financial resources to accomplish in the right way. I'd like to continue reading a bit from the externalization, no, excuse me, it's from the reappearance of the Christ. And we've been talking about prerequisites for those who really want to help. So far we have examined the need for courage, the very first prerequisite. It's difficult, you know, to share the thought that money is needed for the Christ. It's people think of him as the all-conquering hero who has no needs whatsoever, certainly not needs that can be supplied by human beings. And yet, according to the law, humanity must take on some of this burden. So the first prerequisite is courage. The second prerequisite is for everyone to give as they can. Apparently there's quite a blockage there. And as he says, well, people have a seeming inability to give. Let's see here if so they have such a love of purchasing, giving presents. He even quoted at some point the millions of dollars, and dollars, I put it in those terms, spent on, you know, candy and sweets and things of that nature. Certainly when you look at cigarettes and alcohol and all the rest of it, you know, there's so much money wasted. The second prerequisite for everyone to give as they can. And the third prerequisite is the service of the one humanity. And at a level in which a material demonstration, which is also divine, can be made. I think we well know that many of our interests lie in the more abstract worlds, and the esoteric groups don't really materialize the abundance on the outer plane the way some of the less esoteric groups do. They are concentrated more materially, and they successfully manifest money, but, you know, for what purpose? So the service of the one humanity, and the realization that that service has to be carried out in material ways as well. We have a fourth and a fifth prerequisite. I think we should look at them. The fourth prerequisite must be the careful presentation of the cause for which the financial support is required. I'm recalling, I think I've mentioned it before, that there was a man, his rays were, you'll see the financial rays were not included, second ray soul, fourth ray personality, fourth ray mind, second ray astral body, and I think third ray physical, maybe. I can't remember exactly. Anyway, he was Alice Bailey's secretary. And the Tibetan complimented him at one point because he had had the courage to carefully present the case, the need, when for so many second-rate types there's an inner recoil against doing that. But I've seen some wonderful presentations of the financial need, regarding the financial need, by people who simply, they're into it, and they know how necessary it is, and they touch the possibility of evocation in others who hear them. But it has to be carefully thought out, right? The careful presentation of the cause for which financial support is required. People may have the courage to speak, but an intelligent presentation is of equal importance. We should kind of ponder on that, you know. People don't part with their money easily because there are so many desires that they seek to have fulfilled. And money is a great means of fulfilling desire, certainly not all, but many. And so when they are met with a courageous and heartfelt presentation, which is also intelligent, they will give. The major point to be emphasized, says the Tibetan, is in the preparatory work for the return of the Christ, is the establishing of right human relations. This has already been started by men of goodwill, men and women of goodwill, of course, all over the world, under their many names. So, you know, we can ask ourselves for a moment, are we possessed of an intelligent method of presenting the subject? You see, it's the same idea. Do we worship the Christ, or do we, as Master Moria insists we should, imitate the Christ? Do we expect the Christ to do everything, or do we realize that according to the law, especially the law of freedom, and the fact that even the good cannot be imposed upon human beings, do we take our part, take our responsibility, even though in our initiatory level and our capacities and understanding we are far below the Christ? Yet, according to the law, we have to find a way to play our part. And that wonderful painting by Rurik showing the Christ in the desert with a dark figure that we imagine to be Master Moria. The Christ is showing that by human hands and human feet the new age must be brought in. So, intelligence in our presentation, when people protest, but look, it's the Christ. He's arriving on his white horse, coming through the clouds, and he'll handle everything. Well, that's not a very intelligent presentation of the case, unfortunately. And it has to be countered. And now the fifth prerequisite, a vital and sure belief in humanity as a whole. There must be no pessimism as to the future of mankind, or distress over the disappearance of the old order. Maybe, quite a number of the 6 ray souls, of which there are at this time an abundance prior to their going temporarily out of incarnation. These 6 ray souls will resist the disappearance of that which they have learned to love and cherish. And they will think that because particular forms may be disappearing, that humanity is in a critical stage, because the forms are needed in order to guide humanity aright, when at the present time the opposite is really quite true. The forms are obstructive and outworn. He said DK said, every one of the Abrahamic religions is old and outworn, passé, no longer useful at least in an untransformed form. And that would include, of course, Judaism, Islam, and the militant Christianity that has grown up around those who believe but do not think. Anyway, a vital and sure belief in humanity as a whole, no pessimism, no distress over the disappearance of the old order. The good, the true, and the beautiful is on its way, and mankind is responsible, and not some outer divine intervention. I mean, that there is an intervention planned, yes, but it must be supported by humanity, and the word must be spread by humanity, and the cooperation must occur within humanity. Humanity is sound and rapidly awakening. At least in its heart nature, we are told it is sound. There's much educational work to be done. We are passing through the stage where everything is being proclaimed from the housetops, as Christ stated it would be. And as we listen to or read the flood of filth, crime, sensual pleasure, or luxury buying, we are apt to be discouraged. It is wise to remember that it is wholesome, I might say plutonic, it is wholesome for all this to come to the surface and for us to know about it. So all these things from the bottom of the aura of the human race are being pulled to the surface and shown, often to a shocked humanity who didn't know that such things lurked within the human heart in such a quantity. It is like the psychological cleansing of the subconscious to which individuals submit themselves, and it presages the inauguration of a new and better day. So believing with sure belief in humanity as a whole and in its destiny, in its emergence. There is work to do, and the men of goodwill, of spiritual instinct, and of truly Christian training must do it. See, so he's not really dispensing with the Christian approach of at least listening to the Christ and seeking to cooperate with him. He's trying to dispense with a certain thoughtless, fundamentalistic approach, which, well, in the minds of so many of such people, would lead to a final war. So there is work to do, and people of truly Christian training must do it. And I think, when you look at Alice Bailey, and in cooperation with the Tibetan, they have trained many along this line to think with accuracy about true Christian values. And of course, Buddhism comes into it. It'll be a combination of the two, and the two great exemplars must be followed together as brothers, and this must be supported. These people, they must inaugurate the era of the use of money for the spiritual hierarchy and carry that need into the realms of invocation. Invocation is the highest type of prayer there is, and a new form of divine appeal, which a knowledge of meditation has now made possible. I think that will be enough for this morning. Plenty to think about, these 5 prerequisites. And whether we, in our sense of values, can conform to them. So let's see, we'll take this up again in the evening session on the 4th of August. And, I just have to keep my bearings. Let's see, attracting resources for September 20 evening. And these prerequisites, I think, are noteworthy and should be impressed upon us, should be retained. Just finally, to one last look for a while, courage, giving as one can, service of the one humanity, a careful presentation of the cause, both intelligent and heartfelt, and a vital and sure belief in humanity as a whole. Okay, friends. And let's see here. We will go on into the meditation. And begin by asking ourselves certain questions and reaffirming certain fundamental ideas. So let us take a moment to strengthen our alignment. And we are to realize the occult law that to those who give shall be given, so that they can give again. They create a kind of vacuum, and into that vacuum, as a result of that vacuum, flow the riches of the world, not only the symbolic external monetary riches, but even more importantly, the great energies which make it possible to express a high point of tension upon the within the personality realms. Now, we formulate clearly to ourselves and in our own words the answers to these questions. If money is one of the most important things needed today for spiritual work, what is the factor which is at present deflecting it away from the work of the hierarchy? Next question. What is my personal attitude towards money? Do I regard it as a great and possible spiritual asset, or do I think of it in material terms? What is my personal responsibility in regard to money which passes through my hands? Am I handling it as the disciple of the Masters should handle it? Every week, really, we have to refresh our approach to these fundamental questions. It's not like they are answered once and for all. I think we expect ourselves to improve in our understanding of how to conduct ourselves with respect to these questions, and improve our understanding of the misuse of money as it may occur in our own lives and in the general life of humanity, and then find ways to do something about it. It's all a question of this great glamour of the misuse of money, which is really a kind of addiction to low desire, or desire lower than it should be. Our sense of values lower than it should be. And if we find ourselves overcome by this second head of the Hydra, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that symbolic prana we call money, but what about its use? How do we defeat this great glamour, at least within ourselves, so that the stream of constructive, vitalizing prana is directed towards that which the ashrams seek to externalize, namely the divine plan. So we bring our creative imagination into the picture, and we visualize with increasing clarity how money can be redeemed and can support a sense of values which supports the divine plan, the externalization and the reappearance. We ponder then upon the redemption of humanity through the right use of money. There are just so many things that have to be cleared up and straightened out. Every ashram can give the hint. Finally, under the seventh ray, we will be clearing up and straightening out the chaos which presently afflicts the physical plane. But we have to see the way money is presently used, as the Tibetan says, largely for purely material purposes and for the satisfaction, where the individual is concerned, of purely personal desires. Take a few moments to try to see this. And in contrast with that vision of the wrong use of the concretized energy, we visualize money as a great stream of flowing golden substance passing out of the control of the forces of materialism and into the control of the forces of light. I think in a few centuries we will not recognize the world, because humanity will be reoriented, and as Moria says, will vie with each other for the doing of good, and will look back upon these ages of the misuse of the symbol of money as dark ages. But a beginning must be made. And so we concentrate our heartfelt desire to meet spiritual demands in these words. O Thou, in whom we live and move and have our being, the power that can make all things new, turn to spiritual purposes the money in the world. Touch the hearts of men everywhere, so that they can give to the work of hierarchy that which has hitherto been given to material satisfaction. The new group of world servers needs money in large quantities. I ask that the needed vast sums may be made available. May this potent energy of thine be in the hands of the forces of light. And then we visualize the work to be done by those groups which may claim our present allegiance, those groups which we know are attempting to carry out the hierarchical plan. And through the creative imagination and by an act of the will, we see untold and unlimited sums of money pouring into the hands of those who seek to do the Master's work. And then we say aloud, with conviction and emphasis, "He for whom the whole world waits has said that whatsoever shall be asked in his name, and with faith in the response, will see it accomplished." And we remember that faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. And so we ask the needed money, the needed resources for, and we fill in the groups, the projects, whatever we feel we must support or that which deserves support. I ask for the needed money for I can demand it because from the center, which we call the race of men, let the plan of love and light work out, and may it seal the door where evil dwells. We human beings, with the methods at our disposal, will be helping to work out the plan as we can, with the resources that we can gather to support that working out, or resources we can encourage to be gathered. And in our creative imagination, we prepare to give our offering to the Christ. And as we symbolically and in imagination gather together at the feet of the avatar of love, we say, "We have gathered in your name, Lord Maitreya. Be with us." And in our imagination, and later in actuality, we offer to the Christ what we have designated, what we have saved in the previous week, for His work through whatever channel we see that work taking place. And we close with a careful consideration of our responsibility to the plan, how we will carry out that responsibility, and we are practical and realistic, and we know that if we do not give, we may not ask, for as the Tibetan tells us, no one has the right to evoke that which he or she does not share. We attempt to feel true love sweeping through us, and we have the fixed intention to express this love to all whom we may contact. It is the great and attractive and selfless agent in world affairs. So, let us realize that if we who know so much about this process do not give, then whom do we expect will give? And we imaginatively at first and then in reality present our gift to the Christ and His work. And we will close, sounding the Om 3 times, precipitating love wisdom into the world of the threefold personality. Closing song will be Make of Me a Sacrifice of Fire, emphasizing the sacrifice that must accompany a true giving.